And this talk is one that we gave on the road, and what I usually started this one off by asking is asking if people were familiar with Microsoft Excel. And of course, we generally get a lot of hands up for that question because so many people are using Microsoft Excel and using it on a very routine basis and doing a lot of manual tinkering in there to generate reports and various decision-making pieces of information to share with others in an organization. And we find that this is a common time sink for people. So what this talk really is about is showing you some new ways to use FME that you may not have thought of before to do this kind of work. And it's kind of scoped within this word we call location intelligence. And so what is this phrase? What does it mean to you? So what location intelligence means kind of depends a bit on your perspective. If you're a hardcore GIS user, then you may just think of it as the new buzzword for GIS or for basic spatial analysis. But we've really seen an uptake in the use of spatial data and spatial analysis by people in other industries, and they're using it more and more in other places to make the kind of decisions, such as real estate planning and store location placement. And again, more and more people are using spatial data, and they want to be able to combine it with more traditional sources of data like CSV and Excel files. And this is where FME can really come in and help. So there's three pieces we're going to focus on today. The integration, which is really a natural fit for FME. That's taking data from all different places and combining it together. And of course, with FME's vast array of formats that we support, we're a great tool for integrating. We'll also talk about the spatial side that you can bring in to do a little bit of establishing spatial relationships with FME. And finally, we'll end off by showing the output of the first two, combining these to make reporting formats that you can be used but to make better decisions. So first, we'll start off with the integration. And as you may know, FME now supports, I think it's over 300 different formats. You know, the GIS ones and the raster and everything get a lot of attention, but we also support some very common formats that a lot of people use, and those are Excel and CSV and other types of text files, as well as databases and now more and more cloud data sets. Actually, that'll be my next talk coming up just in a bit. In addition to those traditional spatial formats that you think about when you hear FME. We also can connect and add some value by connecting to some new web services that can do different types of analysis, like geocoding or drive time generation. And also, I'll show an example of how you can now connect up to web services for demographics or connect up to other sources of demographics data to add that information to your analysis. And finally, I'm going to talk about how to merge and filter this data together. So I think I'll start off by opening up my workspace here that illustrates some of the data integration concepts. And now here we have a workspace that's reading in data from a variety of different places. There's a traditional spreadsheet here, a few traditional spreadsheets actually, that are coming from a City of Vancouver open data site. Again, very common way people store their data. We're also going to be combining this with some spatial data coming from in the form of a MyTab file. And again, another unusual source is that we're actually looking at Salesforce, which is a cloud kind of database of customer information. And Salesforce data isn't traditionally spatial. And with these data sets that aren't necessarily spatial, with FME nowadays, with the all the cloud geocoding services that we can connect to, all you really need is an address to make data spatial. So here we show that you can connect to various geocoders, the ArcGIS Online or the Google Geocoder, to turn that address information from your Salesforce database into spatial data. And what this example shows here is the ways that you can take data from all these different sources and filter it out both non-spatially and spatially. For a non-spatial filter, we typically use the tester or the test filter transformers, and of course this allows you to sort out the data that you don't need and just focus on certain values that you want. This could be from an attribute value, or it could also be things that fall within a certain geographic boundary. And to test for things that fall within a spatial area, we use the spatial filter. So here I'm taking those geocoded address points and filtering out so that I only end up with those within my city boundary. And so that's how you filter with FME. There's a few different ways you can now join and merge data. So this is taking data from different places, and really this is the real heart of integration here. If you're doing a non-spatial merge, like a typical database join, FME has a transformer that allows you to do this without writing any SQL, and that is the feature merger. And what this allows you to do is to specify two key pairs and join two data sets up in this way based on attribute values. The other thing that you can do in FME is join data spatially. And for this, there's a few transformers, but here we're using a point on area overlayer. So we're able to take those customer address data and merge them with areas coming out of my city neighborhood. So I can take a point and find the polygon that it matches up with, or the city neighborhood it matches up with, and then join all their information together. So these are different ways you can integrate all your data. Another way would be to pair up data based on another closest point. So here's a different example using our neighbor finder transformer, where we're matching up one set of points with its closest neighbor from another set of points. And we're doing this, I believe, to match up some customer data with some restaurant data coming from the city. So this is a nice example workspace. I'm not going to run it today because I'm going to focus on output later on, but this is just the kind of thing that you can do, all the different sources of data that you can take and integrate together with FME. So I will go back here. I think we're all right, actually over here. And next up, we have the spatial side. So I showed a bit of that in that earlier example, how you can filter spatially and find nearest neighbors. So I think what we really want to get to now is really to focus on the output side, and this is where things get interesting. So there's a variety of different output formats that you can use in FME to use to make better decisions, and the ones that we oh, sorry, this is the wrong slide again. Oh, sorry, I wanted this one. Okay. So there's a variety of different formats that you can use for your outputs that you would use to make decisions in an organization. So two common ones that we see a lot are Excel and PDF. A lot of times people are generating nice formatted Excel reports, as well as PDF documents always seem to be popular, as almost everyone can easily handle and view these. And I'm going to show two examples of how you can set up a standard template that'll allow you to automate a common workflow, such as a daily or weekly report with FME. So the first example I'm going to talk about is Excel-based, and I'm going to show you how you can make use of a new feature in our Excel writer, that is to populate templates. So I'm just going to launch in. The first thing I'm going to show you is what a template file would look like. So I'll show you the template that I'm going to use in this example. All right, bear with me while Excel launches up here. Okay, so, oh, it seems my template's changed a little bit. Oh, no, sorry, it's just the view, it's expanded. That scared me a bit. So here we've got a template that's kind of set up, a very simplified example of what we've seen many users create. And this one has a title page with a corporate logo, and it also has a place for a username and timestamp. Then we've got this other sheet that's here where we have a blank chart, and this chart is actually going to be populated by data that's written in this third sheet here, which is the place that the raw data is really going to go into. And once we use FME to write this data, we'll then see that this chart is populated by the values that I've written in there. So now I'll take a look at the workspace that's going to add data to this template. Okay, so here's a workspace that I've prepared. Just expand a bit here, give you a better view. And the idea here is you're getting a CSV, a text file with your raw data. And this is common in a lot of organizations where users don't have direct database access. They go through a web reporting tool and they get a CSV file out that they download on a regular basis. And so here I'm taking a CSV file like this, and I'm doing a little bit of attribute cleanup. I'm formatting some dates. I'm splitting up. I think I'm splitting up an attribute to remove a prefix, and doing some basic statistics, calculating an average, averaging up, grouping on two of these quantities here, and calculating an average that I'm going to write out to Excel. And I should note, while I'm using the statistics calculator to do the calculation in FME, it is also possible now with the new Excel writer to do these calculations in Excel. So you can now write formulas in Excel, and by doing this, your data values as they're modified in Excel will then of course the formulas will dynamically repopulate those values. So that may be an option you might want to consider, as opposed to just doing statistics in FME, which just will give you, of course, static Excel values. So here's the piece where I'm writing to that third sheet here, dumping the raw data in. And lastly, here at the bottom, I've got a small workflow starting with the creator, which I'm just using as a trigger here to generate that timestamp and name on that title page. So I'm using the creator to trigger the timestamp or to get the current time when I run this workspace. I'm going to then clean up the formatting of that time and then add my name to it, and I'm going to write that to that title page. So I'm just going to give this guy a run, and we see it should generate a report. And actually for that graph, that was all done in Excel. Excel is reading from that third sheet, so there's nothing we have to do in FME. As long as that data goes in there, my graph should just be populated in Excel. So now I'm just going to take a look at the output here. So the one that I just wrote, it's 1206, so this is the right one. And this looks like that's my old template. And I'll just drag it in here. Okay, great. So here's my results. So we see, of course, that my chart has now been populated. And if we go over here to my raw data tab, we see the values that I've calculated in that workspace coming from that CSV file have now been written in here. And it's from here that they're feeding into this chart. And you should also note, you see the red and the blue, that was actually done in FME as well. So in the new Excel writer, it is now possible to specify Excel formatting strings to color your text accordingly. So, sorry, if I go to the user attribute tag and I just click here, so here we see the formula. This is an Excel syntax. I believe we have an FME PD article with more info on this that allows you to specify that kind of conditional formatting of your text color. So you can just enter a string there that's valid in Excel in FME now, and we will write your text in whatever color you want. All right, just to go back to that output, we'll look at the title page here, which is here. And we see now that it's been populated with my name and the current date. So this is a really simplified example. You can of course do things that are a lot more complex, involving multiple sheets, and not really just charts. You can do pivot tables or anything else in Excel that's able to take a named range or table set of table values as input. So you can really use this to generate quite complex and highly stylized reports. So very useful feature that many of you may not have known about. I think next I'm going to be moving off to PDF. So PDF reporting is something that's really common. A lot of people really do expect reports in PDF format. It's really just become a standard, and you may not know how powerful our tools are in FME. In the past, you may have used them and found them a bit difficult to use. And this is something we're really looking at addressing, especially moving forward, making reporting easier. So I'm just going to show you a workflow that I've kind of set up myself with some custom tools. And the idea is in the future, more and more of this will be included in the product. So definitely if you're working with PDF, I think 2015 should bring some interesting things. So you'll want to keep your eyes out for new changes there. But for now, I'm just going to show you a workflow that I've set up that writes a little PDF report, and goes through a very typical location analysis, location intelligence exercise. So what I'm starting with in this workflow is the idea here is I want to scout out the area around a prospective store or a prospective property, and what I'm doing is I'm inputting the lat-long coordinates of my location. Now I could have actually set this up to start with an address and connect to one of those cloud geocoders, but here I'm actually just entering as user parameters a lat-long location. So I'll actually start this running while I talk. Oops, I think I'll still be okay. So here I have a user prompt, and I'm entering the lat-long coordinates that I'm interested in. I'm also, you saw some parameters in there for drive times, which I'll get to in a second, because after I create a point from those coordinates with the vertex creator, I should point out, if any of you are wondering what happened to the 2D point adder or the 2D point replacer, they've both been consolidated into the vertex creator. So that's a new change in 2014 to consolidate that transformer. So again, you're looking for a 2D point adder and replacer. The place you want to go is the vertex creator to add points to a feature, or to take lat-long coordinates and turn a feature into a point. That's now where you want the transformer you want to use. And I'm going to actually branch off here with that point and do two different things. In one direction, I'm going to go and I'm going to buffer it just to get a circular polygon with the surrounding area. And on the other hand, I'm going to send this to a neat transformer that I'll talk a little bit more about in my next talk, and that is the ArcGIS Online Drive Service Area Calculator, which allows you to calculate drive times from an input point. So this actually is quite sophisticated. It takes into account traffic and time of day, and allows you to analyze the customer base that's within a certain drive time of a location. So a very neat tool. So I'm going to take the output of both of those, which are now going to be polygons, turning my point into a polygon, and then I'm going to look at the demographics that are contained within these polygons. And what I've actually built here is my own kind of demographics reader tool, which will take these input polygons and search a demographics database that I've compiled myself. This is a database that I built from some freely available U.S. Census data, and I actually took this data and formatted it into a SQLite database. And then I've set up a workflow that can then read from that database based on input polygon features that it receives. So this workflow is, although it's a bit complex, what it's doing is it's looking for the data points of blocks within the U.S., or specifically here I think it's blocks within Texas that fall within my polygons, and summing up their demographics information for those blocks, and then using this to give me a total of the demographics contained within my polygon here. And I should also mention that you have a few different options when doing this type of thing. ArcGIS Online, I believe, also offers a demographics tool which is cloud-based. So I think the GeoEnricher, the ArcGIS Online GeoEnricher, which is available on the FME store, is one option, as well as we have some other third-party companies such as Tetra that have developed demographics plugins. So if you're interested in demographics in FME, let us know, and we can help you, point you in a direction to get started with that. And so now, after I've added my demographics, what I'm doing to really set up my report is to take this and format it in a table. So of course, PDF documents, a common thing people want as a table, and we didn't really have a great way to do that. So I've kind of thrown together a custom transformer now that I've put up on the FME store called the Table Adder, which allows you to generate a vector-based table that you can now write out to PDF. And I'm also going to send my features into a map, and as well as my table into another transformer that I've developed which will scale these and template these up so that they're in the right page units. And then I'm going to finally write out my custom PDF. So I think since I've already run this, that should be written, so I'll just take a look at the one. All right, this looks like the one I wrote today. Oh, okay, great, everything's working nicely. So here we see is just a really simple example of how you can create a PDF with both your spatial data. Here I've mapped my radial polygon and my drive time polygons, as well as tabular data. So this is a very common type of thing that people might want to do in the location and intelligence sector. And again, something we can do with FME, and we're making it easier and easier. So stay tuned for more changes on the PDF front. And with that, I think we're done with the location intelligence talk today. But if you have any questions about anything you've seen, be sure to let us know. Send in your questions to info@save.com. And you may also want to check out, we did a more in-depth webinar covering a lot of the same material there, which is available on our webinars page.